you do, Chickmunk? What did you do? What did you do, Chickmunk?
Just confirm about tour guide.
No, when you went downstairs and you saw a lot of Thai looking faces.
Oh, so I speak Thai with them by asking where is a restaurant.
And they didn't know what you were saying.
I think I'm
Now
in
you,
Thailand.
now you know how I feel all the time.
Yeah.
Another incredible thing about Cambodia is they use US dollars mostly as a currency. There's Abraham Lincoln there. He'll tell you.
Restaurant.
I think that boat there's seen better days, isn't it?
Yeah, I saw that. It's a boat.
When people come to Siem Reap, they mostly go to the temples. We are obviously going to go to the temples, Ankhor Wot and others. But before we go there, we're going to go to the river over here in Siem Reap. People actually live on this river. These are people on the side of the river right now. And you're going to see someone fishing right there. So he's fishing in the river. So they actually built houses over here to get away from the US bombing that happened here, and also the Khmer Rouge when that terrifying history was going on. So the reason that they stayed out on the river is because they can avoid tax that way. So they decided that actually I might want to stay here for a while. They just settle themselves over. My guy's just telling me this is a school. My tour guide, he was just telling me that's a school and the students, they ride themselves there. They have to sail their own way to the school. If I drop my phone, I ain't getting it back. You can stay down there. Boat life. Boat life. See how they teach them young, getting them to the school, don't they? Is that a snake in a hand? Going to see the tourists. And get their little... Well, for today we have snake or crocodile. No, wait, sorry, wrong way round. That's snake. That's crocodile. This is the most interesting pub I've ever been to, mate. Say hello. Beef jerky, lager, and coconut on a floating house in the river. Awesome. How did you get on the boat, mate? On the house, the floating house. How did you get here? Okay, first time eating crocodile meat. Bit of this sauce. No. Tastes like all seafood. Horrible. It's not as strong as other seafood. It's like a meat seafood. To be honest, as seafood goes, it's not too bad, but no. Oh no. If you like seafood, you might like it, but no, not me. Our guide has never had crocodile either. So, do you eat seafood normally? Yeah, you like it? Good? Good, yeah. I think if you like seafood, you might like it, but I don't. Yeah. It's like a steaky seafood. So tough. It's tough.
It's a beef. It's a more delicious. This one is like very stronger.
Yeah.
It's soft and salty.
Yeah. Are you tucking in now too? Go on, Archery.
We can take away.
Sunset's nice, but it's not quite what I saw in the photos. Photos, even the lake was bright.
There
she goes. Do you like a good sunset? Yeah, I I do like a good sunset. This is what people come for, Ankhor Wat. This is the whole reason they come to Siem Reap in Cambodia. Well, most of the reason anyway. First of all, I want to say that I've actually remastered this video. It is maybe not as great and high quality professionalism that you get from my more modern videos, but I've done the best with it, and I think I've done alright really. So the Khmer Empire was a great big empire in Southeast Asia, and it expanded between Cambodia, Thailand, and a lot of South Vietnam. And it was going on between the 9th century and the 15th century. So it stretched quite a long time. It was very powerful in its day. And the Khmer had a lot of wealth, they had a lot of materials, and they had a lot of slaves. And they built incredible temples like this one, Ankhor Wot, which was the old ancient capital of Khmer. Many things led to the collapse of the Khmer Empire: disease, drought, the usual kind of thing, and ultimately it was defeated by the Vietnamese Empire. That began to grow much stronger in the 15th century. So Cambodia really are the descendants of this Khmer Empire that existed. You do see temples like this throughout where the ancient empire was. So you see Khmer temples throughout Thailand, you see it in South Vietnam, they exist everywhere. And these kind of cone tops that you get are a symbol that that's exactly what it is. Unbelievably, the temple was lost to the jungle apart from the locals that lived there right around it. It was lost after the Khmer Empire fell and was found again in the 19th century by a French explorer known as Henri Mou. The people who lived around there didn't really know what it was, so it's crazy to think this guy just going through the jungle just stumbles across it. Proper Tomb Raider. Dunno. Oh well, don't lose your head over it, baby. Absalah. Okay. Very steep steps and a lot big going up there. I'm surprised when they built the temple they didn't put a lift in. You may have noticed them Buddha statues didn't have heads. That's why I made a joke about it. Don't lose your head over it. Hey? Anyway, the reason those Buddhas had lost their head is because they were sold. They're worth a lot of money. You see these ancient sites. Singer, the royal lion. This river is here because they've removed the stones to make the actual building. We do actually come back to Ankhor Wat later because we ended up missing quite a bit. So I'll be back here later. There's Arsenal on the front. Cambodian beer. Big Ben and that. Tree growing out of the temple. Hang on. Man's busy.
Temple is now from here, the whole structure. Oh, okay.
Jungle has well and truly taken over this ruin. The jungle and Chinese people.
Oh, that's nice. You don't have this guy.
Imagine what it looked like when it was all painted. This is a proper ancient ruin, this is. Don't they? Oh. Lost. Thank you.
สวยเนอะมันมีความแตกต่างกันน่ะ Oh sorry baby
No, it's okay, keep going. Keep going. I was just taking a little short
Okay
clip. Angelina Jolie fell in love with Cambodia.
Yeah.
She adopted a child from Cambodia. She's also done a film.
Yes, and the film like Tomb Raider.
Yeah, Tomb Raider, but she's done another one recently on Netflix. She's directed. At first they killed my father, I think.
Yes, right.
Yeah. All headless. The reason they're headless is the Khmer Rouge knocked their heads off and sold them.
Don't understand
Sold them. The site that we're at now is Ankhor Tom. Uncle Tom. Ankhor Tom. Uncle Tom. It's absolutely massive and all, but over a huge area too, but let's get a picture with the sun always in the way. Do you ask the guy with the sword if we can come in? Tom. Oh, Buddha faces each way. These faces survived. Anyone in? Oh, you're in. Not just headless, this one. He's only got his legs left. Colour is everywhere. His faces are everywhere. Still got a lot of faces left. It's all the back roads, the alleyways, avoiding the tourists.
Sit there So cute
Hill, hill. It's quieter here, isn't it? Well, Tom. I think the temples are done. Oh. What happens when you let small people drive?
Oh that's good Maybe yeah take around Nice video Snapshot
Hotel. Cup in the world, I'm zooming in there, it's tiny. Tiny cup of coffee there. Elephant. Elephant. Dang ding dong ding dang ding. These guys get it on. My head survives. Yeah, can do. Feet shrine.
baby
Roman style for some reason. Wow. Leonora. Different looking this one.
One, two, three. Baby.
Mini Ankhor Wot. Different brickwork. Why they got the holes in these little things? Okay, I'll come inside now. Not far off the bricks in the UK, are they? Bricks in the UK, baby. Going on now. Playing dominoes. Playing dominoes, I think. How expensive. This is appetizers. American dollars here. Bottle $4. But yeah, it's twice as expensive in the hotel, isn't it?
Yeah.
But I guess it's a hotel. Khmer. Khmer.
Khmer curry. Baby.
Said nothing like it's about Khmer curry.
Khmer curry.
You want to try it?
Yeah.
Good? What does it taste? Sweet?
It's like a coconut milk.
Okay.
And it's mixed between Penang Gai and green curry of Thai.
Okay.
So it's mixed.
Just mixed it all in there.
Yeah.
And pineapple. It's not spicy. Not spicy. It's actually really nice. My old man would like it. Mild, but tasty. And describe it as a mild green curry. Very delicious.
Khmer.
Instagram. Can't get enough of that sauce, baby. Everything we found. Here we are. Last temple. Hello. Oh.
Baby. Oh, but it's.
Comes a treacherous journey back down. Nice big lake. Amazing. The battle scene. 12th century Ankhor Wat. That red there was, wow, it was red painted once. Maybe for blood, I don't know. This is about halfway around the temple, around the outside, and it shows a battle between the Cambodians and the Vietnamese, who were like the big enemies before Siam turned up, and Siam was in modern day Thailand, and ultimately caused the Cambodians to flee this site. It's not the start of a fight. Guy with the trumpet, people marching off to war. war there. People firing the arrows. Literally no pavements. This bloody ibis in. Feeling that they did this street just for me. Well, I'm not short of food. Tastes a bit like Koh Samui Road. How say it? Koh Samui. Draft beer. What's that price say? 50 cents. Prove my point earlier. This is steak, but you know, still ain't cheap. I've been saying that food and drink's expensive, but for whatever reason on Pub Street, and this one we found anyway, draft beer, 50 cents. So I cut down on drinking after tonight then. Okay, first taste of some different Cambodian style curry. Oh, pizza sold here. I've already shown Crocodiles who's on top of the food train, haven't I? My little bite of it. Hot tap. I didn't tap. Karaoke's really in the Asian blood, isn't it? I personally think that's a bit of a high mountain to climb, that one. She is actually pretty good. I'm actually quite proud that they keep singing English songs. They love it. They love the English music. Yeah. What happens when you go out with a non-drinker? That's what we lack in the UK. You've got dragon fruit, papaya, mango, pineapple. Very delicious. Very delicious. And banana. Yes, papaya, dragon fruit, watermelon, mango, kind of like a banana mix here, and dragon fruit, etc. All picked locally. Bananas. Whatever that red one is. This is what we lack in the UK, isn't it? Really tropical fruit that's delicious. Fruit in England is well, it's not on this standard, let's be honest. Absolutely delicious. How to move your baby around very safely. Oh, okay, there we go. I wanted to do something on the Khmer Rouge, but oh my goodness, look what happened to that one.
This is what I see.
Yeah.
Oh my god, a lot.
Something like many sites of genocide. Bloody fly went in my ear. A lot of tourists, when they come to Cambodia, they go and look at the historic sites, mostly in Ankhor Wot, look at all the nice temples there, but unfortunately not all the history in Cambodia is so nice to look at, especially if you go to the times of when the Vietnamese war was going on in Vietnam next door, and Cambodia itself, the Cambodian war, was actually kept very secret, and so was the war in Laos. So when America was bombing Vietnam, they were also secretly bombing Laos and Cambodia because they were seen as a way that the Viet Cong were bringing in weapons into themselves, the Viet Cong. So they brought weapons in through supply routes in Laos and Cambodia. So that's the reason that America was secretly bombing these countries. So if you go back to the end of the Second World War, a lot of these countries that were once owned by French Indonesia, like Cambodia, Laos, Vietnam, they went from having this empire rule over them for many years, and then now France was very weak after the Second World War, so they wanted independence. The big problem after the war was that there was communism massively on the rise, and you had the ways of doing things with capitalism that proved very successful for America during the war, a new kind of form of capitalism where the government doesn't get involved so much in it. So yeah, a lot of these countries, they wanted independence, but what they wanted for as a government ruling them was conflicted. So do they have communism, do they have capitalism? And the reason countries like Vietnam, Cambodia and Laos were fighting was a civil war, and America would back those fighting communism because America really feared communism. So that was the reason that they got involved in Vietnam. But it's amazing how they managed to keep the bombing of Cambodia and Laos secret, because they definitely went too far. Now, I'm not one of these people that say anti-American things. I think they've done a lot of good in the world, but I will say in Southeast Asia, it's terrible, the stuff that they've done. So Cambodia itself, here I've got the numbers here, 2 million cluster bombs were dropped on Laos. Now, cluster bombs don't always go off on impact. In fact, it's estimated that an 80 million of them have not yet exploded. So these bombs today still kill people in Laos. Laos was seen as one of the most bombed countries in the world, if not the most bombed country in the world, because 20 million cluster bombs is almost as many bombs that were dropped in Europe during the Second World War. More bombs that were dropped on Japan in the Second World War. So they wanted to get rid of the supply routes in Laos and Cambodia, but they dropped an excessive amount of bombs. And as you can imagine, the amount of people that were actually killed were not anything to do with communism. They were civilians. I mean, they flattened the country. So in Cambodia, we have 2.7 million tons of bombs were dropped in Cambodia. A huge amount of civilians were killed. It is an absolute unbelievable amount of bombs to drop on a country. And the maddest thing is, this was kept secret. President Nixon in America gave the go-ahead without Congress's permission, which made it actually an illegal war. And unbelievably, President Nixon got a Nobel Peace Prize. So it was the best thing that could possibly happen to the communists in Cambodia, because they had a massive recruitment tour now. And Khmer Rouge were the name of the group that were in Cambodia, and America were supplying the Republic in Cambodia, and they were also supposedly bombing the Khmer Rouge, which they were bombing the Khmer Rouge. They were just bombing a lot of everyone in Cambodia, really. I mean, 2.7 million tons. That's a crazy amount of bombs to drop on a country. So there's a lot of accounts of Cambodians' villages that had monasteries and Buddhist temples that were bombed. Their families were killed, and it was the best recruitment tour for the Khmer Rouge. Khmer Rouge loved it. I mean, suddenly they'd gone from a small group that would have been a lot easier to defeat, and now they become a massive group because they've recruited a massive part of the country. You now see America as the bad guys because they just killed their whole family, and yeah, they hated them. And it also led to, the bombs, it's believed that they killed a good 30% of the Cambodian population. So an excessive amount of bombs, obviously. So what happened after that was the Khmer Rouge ultimately won the war, and they committed absolute atrocities. Now, why they committed these atrocities is a bit of a mystery. When the Khmer Rouge managed to take hold of the country, they killed a lot of people. There's many genocidal sites in Cambodia. It's estimated that they killed some 2 million people. 2 million people of their own Cambodian people. And the reason that they did this is because they were trying to enforce a very extreme version of communism known as agricultural communism. They were trying to make everyone a farmer, basically. Everyone a farmer, everyone live in the countryside, everyone a farmer, no cities. They went into places, into the capital, and they said, America's about to bomb the country, about to bomb the cities, you need to get out into the countryside. This wasn't true, but the people believed it, so they left for the countryside to be massacred. The reason that they did this killing was because they wanted to kill anyone who was educated, anyone who sided with the Americans, who mostly were people in cities, anyone who might have sided with the Americans. But they don't know who's educated. How do you know someone's educated? So often they kill people just for wearing glasses, thinking that they must be educated. Doctors killed, teachers killed. They just killed anyone really. They killed babies. There were trees in Cambodia where they used to whack babies against and kill them. Yeah, horrible, horrible stuff. They were an evil group. And anyway, what happened to the Khmer Rouge in the end, which was ruled by a guy called Pol Pot? They actually went on to attack Vietnam. They even committed a massacre in South Vietnam, which led to the Vietnamese going on to attack Cambodia. So it was actually the Vietnamese, many of who were Viet Cong, that were fighting the Americans. Many of them people went on to Cambodia to liberate it. Unbelievably, the Vietnamese were actually criticised by the United Nations for attacking Cambodia, even though they were just defending themselves, and they were freeing the people of Cambodia from Pol Pot and this evil regime that's committed loads of massacres. So the United Nations actually imposed sanctions on Vietnam for trying to free the Cambodians from the Khmer Rouge. I mean, I don't know what was going on in this period. People lost their mind, clearly. Yeah, so in the end, they kind of installed a government there in Cambodia, and they left because they couldn't be dealing with the sanctions, especially as they've just had a massive war themselves. So this is the story of Cambodia, and yeah, of great atrocities and evil, really. So what's horrible is President Nixon got a Nobel Peace Prize, and Pol Pot, the leader of Khmer Rouge, died of old age. He died in his sleep. So that's it. That's it. Nobody was brought to justice for any of this. And Cambodia was, well, they suffer today. They actually the economy is just starting to grow again. So they'll get there eventually. Yeah, absolutely crazy. Unbelievably, when President Trump was in charge of America, he actually said that Cambodia owe America money. I don't think they do, mate. I think if anything, it's the other way round, definitely. So guys, I hope you've enjoyed this video. It is really hot right now. I'm going to go inside. Thank you for watching. Bye bye.